Hey guys, it's Jess from Madden Crafts, and I am taking advantage of the fact that we actually have some nice weather here today to start working with my succulents a little bit. This planter went crazy. I actually showed you what it looked like on my blog last year when I originally planted it, and it is kind of a mess right now. I have some plants that aren't looking very healthy, like this one right here. I don't know how well you can see it. And then other ones like these hens and chicks that absolutely need to be split because they've grown so much and they're so clumped together that they need more room to grow. So I'm going to start doing a little bit of propagation and replanting with these succulents today, and I thought I would show you what I was doing. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit closer some of the plants I have in here. You can see I have some little babies that I started last year that are growing pretty well, so I want to make sure that they continue to grow in a new good environment. This guy right here has gotten super leggy and has lots of dead leaves, so I'm probably just going to decapitate this guy and put him in a new pot. And this little one, I guess, is kind of notoriously, let me see if I can, here. This little guy is, I guess, notoriously hard to grow, but I'm going to try and see if I put him in another spot by himself, if he'll grow a little bit better. This monster thing right here has sprawled way out and gotten hugely tall. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that right now. So that might be the last thing that I work with today. All right, the first thing I'm going to be working with is this guy right here, because that's probably the easiest for me to get at because he's kind of hanging over the edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a sharp knife, or you could take a pair of garden shears or good scissors, and I'm going to just actually cut right here all the way through the stem. And that was easy. And normally that would be really scary, but for succulents, they actually can regrow from this point down here, and you can actually get some new growth from here. So don't get rid of that or throw that away, because that could spread out some babies as well. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the dead leaves that are here at the base of this guy. And what you want to happen is before you plant it, you want this to callus over. Right now I touch it, it's a little moist. You want that to callus over totally before you try planting it. All right, next I guess I'm going to try and go after these guys right here. And I don't know yet. I think I might try to dig them up, and then if that doesn't work, then I will just decapitate them like I did with the other plant. So I got it out, and I'm going to take some of the excess dirt off of the root ball here. And you can see that's actually all one part of the same plant. So what I'm going to do is, again, get rid of some of these dead leaves. And now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to go in and see if I can kind of cut them apart. There, that guy came apart. I can probably cut these apart too. Great, there. Don't throw that away, that can become another plant too. All right, so I'm going to clear off all of these dead leaves, dead bits. And then we're going to put that over on our soil. So this guy has a couple of runners back through here, and they've kind of gotten trapped by this other thing. So let's see if I can dig them out and find a new place to plant them. This is a ground cover, so it has several different root systems all along. if you look, here's one that's put its root down in here, right here. See, there's a root. And then there's more over here that I have to dig down to kind of pull up. There. See, there's another section of roots, all within that one plant. Here's one plant, here's another plant, and here's this one with its huge, huge, huge root system. That was kind of taking all the resources out of this flower bed. And since that guy that I just pulled out has such a big root system still intact, I'm actually going to plant this one instead of doing cuttings of it. Never throw away succulent leaves that have fallen off on, when you move them, because you can always use these as cuttings and turn them into new plants. Okay, so after you have taken the leaves off of your succulents, you need to let them dry out for 2-3 days or so that they callus over on the ends. You don't want to put these straight into soil because they will absorb any moisture that is in the soil, and that will cause them to take on too much moisture, and then they'll end up dying before they grow. You don't have to lay your cuttings out on parchment paper. I just did it so it would read better on camera so you could see everything. You can see here I have the decapitated hens and chicks that I showed you earlier that will need to callus over on the ends. This one as well. And then I have some leaf cuttings from the different plants that hopefully, potentially, could each turn into its own new succulent that I could plant in another planter or give away to some friends. So you have to let this callus over for a couple of days, and then you move them over to some trays with prepared soil, and I'll show you how to do that. So instead of just putting regular soil in this like I would for seedlings, I'm going to mix up a special combination of soil that is good for succulents. So one of the things I'm going to mix into it is this perlite, which is just an additive that helps aerate the soil a little bit, and so it doesn't get quite so moist, which isn't good for succulents. So I'm going to add some perlite in, and then I'm going to use this cactus or succulent soil, which has good drainage as well, and that's the most important thing I found with succulents. I'm really bad at growing anything, but I can usually keep succulents growing as long as I don't overwater them. So that's what I'm going to start out doing. And just layer that down in a thin layer at the bottom of this tray. And then I'm not going to plant any of my succulent plantings, or cuttings, I'm sorry. I'm not going to plant any of my succulent cuttings. I'm just going to lay them on top of the soil. And yes, I know my nails look like garbage, but I thought it was stupid to paint my nails and then be playing in the dirt. These cuttings that I'm hoping will callus over and then turn into new plants, you don't want to water them. Don't water them. I know it sounds crazy, but you really don't want to, because that will kill them. You want to let them fully callus over and start to see some new plant growth for a while before you move them. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be keeping an eye on these trays, basically leaving them alone other than keeping them in indirect sunlight, and we're going to see if we have any new growth.